Donald Trump's meltdown yesterday was just so completely embarrassing, with the stock market up, with President Biden leading in some of the top recent polls, 538 and Marist, and President Biden giving an incredible speech in Detroit, Michigan to an impassioned crowd cheering him on, and President Biden just mocking Donald Trump and saying no more free passes. Trump can't handle it. I mean, look, take a look at what Donald Trump's been posting. He sent this message to his followers. Is George Clooney endorsing me? That's what Donald Trump writes. He goes, this is a message from Donald Trump. George Clooney said Biden should drop out. Does that mean he's endorsing me? Even though he's a member of the Hollywood elite, I would gladly accept his endorsement if he pledges to change his ways. What in the world are you talking about? Then he sends this one and it goes, Ben, Ben, Ben. That's the subject line. Ben, 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 whoever his supporter is. It's like a sociopath. Chill. I'm officially being nominated in just 6 days. Before I step on the glorious stage, I need to ask you a question. Are you voting for me? I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I can't go on until I know for sure. And it's a photo of him kissing the American flag. Again, so utterly bizarre and deranged. Then he sends this one. I'll never forget what you did for me. Here's my way of saying thank you. Okay, what's your way of saying thank you? I'll always love you. He says, I'll always love you. So here's a small token of my appreciation. And it's a photo of his mugshot. The small token of his appreciation is a photo of his mugshot. He's also weird, deranged, like, hello media, focus on that. Donald Trump also posts this, focus on this. It's a photo of him and Viktor Orban, the authoritarian leader of Hungary, who just left a meeting with Putin to deliver messages to Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. So while President Biden was convening the 75th anniversary of NATO's summit, where NATO's been stronger than ever, Putin met with Orban to then meet with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and then they post photos of themselves, and Trump goes, thank you, Victor. And Donald Trump posts photos of himself meeting with the authoritarian leader of Hungary, who was an emissary of Putin to give communications from Putin, which Russia was promoting days before it even happened, which we were calling out here on the MeidasTouch network. Take a look. One of the reasons Donald Trump's losing it right now. Don't underestimate underdog Joe. Never underestimate President Biden. New poll from Marist, which is an A-plus poll. Biden 50%, Donald Trump 48% in the new poll. Previously, that last poll was a tie, kind of right around the period of the debate. Also, we take a look at the stock market. The Dow hit a fresh all-time intraday high, topping 40,000, basically double what the stock market was under Donald Trump. Under the new 538 aggregation of all polls, when they run their simulation, President Biden wins 51 times out of 100 as part of the 538 simulations. And by the way, I thought this political cartoon here was pretty good. You've got manufacturing better than ever. Manufacturing boom here in the United States, thanks to President Biden's policies. Over 40,000 infrastructure projects taking place thanks to the Infrastructure Act. Jobs, record high. Unemployment, record low. Wages, record high. Stock market, record high. Energy independence for the first time. There's been more drilling right now in the United States than in the history of the world for any country, period, under President Biden. But he also recognizes the importance of dealing with climate change, leading the world on climate change as well, unlike Donald Trump, who says that climate change isn't a real thing, and if it is, it'll just help me get more beachfront property, is what Donald Trump says. So while all of the objective metrics that we would normally use to judge a presidency are up. What I love this cartoon is it's like the corporate media is pushing their own narratives. But it's so incredible to see the support for networks like the MeidasTouch network and those calling out corporate media. See you later, corporate media, for your bogus BS narratives. We've all caught on to you. The people know what's up. By the way, GDP, record growth, America, fastest growing GDP of all G7 nations. Go through any significant stat right there. So Donald Trump's really having the meltdown also, though, because President Biden called him out, says, look, you were found liable for sexual assault. You're a convicted felon. What are you even doing? By the way, you know who Donald Trump has as one of his keynote speakers at the Republican National Convention? If you guessed Mitt Romney, wrong. Nikki Haley, wrong. Liz Cheney, wrong. Ron DeSantis, wrong. Paul Ryan, wrong. George W. Bush, no. Amber Rose, the OnlyFans model. Amber Rose will be a keynote speaker there. Wow. All right. President Biden's speech in Michigan, incredible. We just compare this for a second right here. President Biden saying, Donald Trump, no more free passes. We are shining a light on who you are. Play this clip.
No more. Donald, no more free passes. Today we're going to shine a spotlight on Donald Trump. We're going to do what the press so far hasn't, but I think they're going to soon. We're going to say who he is, what he intends to do. Folks, Donald Trump is a convicted criminal. He's convicted. He was convicted by a jury of his peers.
So take that and compare that to a recent speech that Donald Trump gave in a high school where Donald Trump spent significant time on the speech talking about how he doesn't like getting peed on during sex. That's something that Donald Trump talked about during his campaign. He says he doesn't like golden showers, doesn't like being peed on. And Trump said that in a high school. Play the clip.
He was with 4 hookers. You think that was good that night to go up and tell my wife, it's not true, darling. I love you very much. It's not true. Actually, that one she didn't believe because she said he's a germaphobe. He's not into that, you know? He's not into golden showers, as they say they call that. He's not. I don't like that idea. No, I didn't. I thought that would be a big problem. I was going to have a rough night, but that one she was very good on, she said.
Okay, let's take a look at President Biden's speech in Detroit, Michigan, where he calls out Donald Trump for being a business fraud. Here, play this clip.
Donald Trump is a business fraud. He lost his license to do business in New York State. Been fined over $400 million for giving false information to banks. And he's still facing charge for mishandling classified information, which is a criminal offense. He's still facing charge for his role in January 6th trying to overthrow the outcome of the 2020 election. He's still facing charges in Georgia for election interference.
Okay, now compare that to a speech that Donald Trump gave very recently, where Donald Trump was in a church and he led a chant in the church with children to curse. And so Trump led a cursing chant at a church. Let's compare, contrast here, play the clip.
So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it. I will not say it. But this thing allows millions of people.
Back to President Biden. Here he is in Detroit, Michigan, saying that Trump is still facing charges for his election fraud. Play this clip.
Still facing charges in Georgia for election interference. Remember his phone call? I just need 11,780 votes. Name me another president who's done any of that.
And here's Donald Trump saying that the January 6th insurrectionists are hostages and that President Biden needs to free the hostages. And Donald Trump goes, "Free the hostages, Joe." Here, play this clip.
What they've done, and they ought to, you know what they ought to do? They ought to release the J6 hostages. They've suffered enough. They ought to release them. I call them hostages. Some people call them prisoners. I call them hostages. Release the J6 hostages, Joe. Release them, Joe. You can do it real easy, Joe. This guy, what he's done to people. And
here, President Biden says that Donald Trump can't even watch TV anymore because it's Shark Week. Play this clip.
Rambling about. Take what he's been talking about. Hannibal Lecter, he says, is a nice guy. Trump would rather be electrocuted than eaten by a shark. You know that whole thing? Remember that? Poor Donald. He can't even watch TV this week because it's Shark Week. And by the way,
and here Donald Trump claims that he'd rather be electrocuted than eaten by sharks. Play this clip.
But if I'm sitting down and that boat's going down and I'm on top of a battery and the water starts flooding in, I'm getting concerned. But then I look 10 yards to my left and there's a shark over there. So I have a choice of electrocution or shark. You know what I'm going to take? Electrocution. I will take electrocution every single time. Do we agree? I will take electrocution.
And finally here, President Biden says, do you really want to go back to the chaos of Donald Trump? Like, do you remember all of that? Play the clip.
Do you really want to go back to the chaos of Donald Trump as president? Back when the United States lost 3 million jobs. And by the way, Donald Trump is the only president in American history, other than Herbert Hoover, who lost more jobs than he had when he came in. That's why I call him Donald Herbert Hoover Trump.
And here's where President Biden says what Donald Trump did, what a jury found Donald Trump liable for sexually assaulting a woman, which the judge said was rape. Play the clip.
Trump was found liable for sexual assault by a judge who told us not to be fooled by Trump's brushing it off. Here's what the judge wrote, quote, the judge in that case wrote, Mr. Trump attempt to minimize sexual abuse, finding it frivolous. Mr. Trump raped her. No, I mean, it's the judge's language, not mine. Raped her, as many people understand the word rape.
And I think let's show you this last one, because President Biden says it's time for us to stop treating politics like entertainment or reality TV. Play this clip.
We've never seen anything like this, and it's not a joke. It's time for us to stop treating politics like entertainment and reality TV. Another 4 years with Donald Trump is deadly serious. Deadly serious. His proposals are deadly serious.
And I think for the corporate media, that's what this is. This is all one big game for them. This is entertainment. But for we the people, this is life or death stuff right here. And that's why when the corporate media is now pushing these, we know what you did in 2016 with him. We know how you've propped up this sexual assaulter, this Jeffrey Epstein, disgusting buddy human being, this predator, this wannabe dictator, this convicted felon. We don't want this guy near us. We wouldn't want him in our house. We wouldn't want him in our community. We wouldn't want him anywhere near us at all. Disgusting, disgusting person. We're just going to call it out like it is here on the MeidasTouch Network. We're going to call it what we see it. Call balls and strikes. Call balls and strikes. But love seeing Donald Trump's meltdown. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers. It's free to subscribe. So hit subscribe. And if you want to support this network too, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.